plan on using mine in ways to give back, because I never pull together. But that I can't sit here and tell somebody else not to take it, but I know what I plan on doing with mine, and because I voted no. I serve in a duality position here in this community. I'm already getting taxpayers' money through the school district, but that's my personal viewpoint. So I plan on giving that back, and I can't sit here and tell everybody else they shouldn't take it. So, I mean, I guess.
I mean, to carry forward your point, right? You seem to want to have another advertisement or by ordinance to let the public have say or have an opportunity to discuss. The public had an opportunity to discuss at the public meeting 12/9 when we tried to just reinstate the pay. And no one came forward, and it was passed with a supermajority. So if we did it by ordinance now, we may also try to change the rates to something that is more proper or more equitable. But if we did it again this time, it's really not much different than what we've already done a month ago.
With all due respect, though, that we were not prepared to discuss that issue on the 9th. The residents were not prepared to discuss that issue on the 9th because it was brought up.
That's true.
We fumbled with a decision. We made an incorrect, procedurally it was incorrect. So.
Why did the solicitor not state that the only way to reinstate an ordinance
What?
would be by ordinance?
Hold on, can we go? I think, as he said, is because he wasn't prepared for the motion.
He should know the borough code, though.
I mean, it did, quite frankly, this was an issue that we were not expecting to be raised that night. It was, and yeah, I mean, to the extent, should I have caught it on December 9th? Maybe so, but I did catch it on December 10th. Maybe that's a day late and a dollar short. We'd still be looking at you'd still be looking at the same dilemma, because of the action that was taken on December 9th was not valid. If no action was taken on December 9th, or the action that was taken on December 9th occurred, which it did, the only way you can effectively change the rates is by ordinance. That's the law. I mean, were we expecting this on December 9th? Frankly, no. I mean, it was a last minute sort of thing. Should I have caught it? Shame on me, I suppose. I mean, if it's, but
And we wouldn't, based on the fact that we tried to have a public meeting to resolve this the proper way then, and we couldn't get a quorum, we couldn't have fixed this in 2013. And do it the proper way, right? By advertising it, advertise the meeting, change the ordinance, advertise the ordinance and adopt the ordinance to change the rate. So 2013 is moved. But where we stand now is that you can elect to receive the money, and I still think we should end up doing what Dave is suggesting, is do this by ordinance, but doing it by ordinance, which is going to change the rates, is going to do it moving forward for the next council. It doesn't change the reality for this council. You could make a motion similar to what they did in 2008 to say, I don't want council, let's make a resolution, is it a motion or a resolution to not accept pay, right? And we could put that up to vote, and then we can all decide whether or not we think that's proper.
But that was illegal back then. Now it's going to be illegal now.
And if you had a vote, Joe, it would be, let's say, 4-3. The 4 that says we don't want paid, what about the 3 that says we want paid because it's on the books?
Oh, yeah.
And like I said, I'm not in a position to take somebody else's money away. That's not my point of view.
Yeah, that's not
But we can't, basically, we can't take money.
Yeah, I kind of feel like maybe we table this discussion. We can talk, this is ideological. We can talk about,
Placed on the.
Okay.
this all night. So, I mean, in
And they
order to
would've
get the rest of the
adopted
business,
an
I mean, if I have to
ordinance
take,
which
if
would
I have to
set
make
the
a motion
rates
to table the
legally.
discussion.
This is an organizational meeting of council, and you can always put this on the agenda as a discussion item, as and a possible action item.
There's no, yeah, it's on for the discussion.
I mean, it's
item.
on, but no, I mean, if it's,
So it will
but if
affect
it's,
future council.
but you can put this on the table at a future, meeting. You can raise this at a future meeting. You can- If somebody wants to authorize the introduction,
And I guess I'm
Preparation of an
concerned
ordinance.
that every time there is a loss on a vote,
And that's
that
still-
someone wants to bring it up and discuss it ad nauseum. Because in actuality, the prevailing side is the only side that can bring it up for discussion, according to Robert's rules, which we operate under.
I think it's even murkier, right, because the majority, if you will, was a majority on what he described as a nullified resolution, right?
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's procedural, and, you know, if we didn't understand what we were doing, how are the residents supposed to understand? And how are they supposed to have faith that we're doing the right thing and making the right decisions if we're fumbling around trying to figure it out ourselves?
And I understand that, you know, sitting in that chair and processing what's happening and, you know, looking to the solicitor, it's maybe not something that is something that you're used to handling at all times. So with the response from the solicitor the next day, that's why we try to get together to have the additional discussion afterwards. Because we're not all going to be experts on every decision at every moment, and that's why we rely on a solicitor. And like every professional, this may not be something that you handle immediately right away, so you need a little bit of time to look it up and look at what is on it. So again, I would really be in favor of moving ahead with the agenda, just for pure ideological
There's nothing,
digestion.
yeah, there's nothing on the rest of the agenda that we have to decide as it relates to this item, right? There's nothing,
Correct.
we're not voting on this, we're not changing anything, so let's, I'm sure this is gonna come up again, probably at the next meeting. We'll have to decide then what to do, because we can't keep talking about this at each meeting. But we don't have to make a decision on this now.
No, it stays the same. You do nothing, it stays the same. If somebody wants to introduce an ordinance, they can do that at any time, right?
Right.
that's correct.
Let's move on.
All right.
As of right now, council and mayor are paid. And that will effectuate internally what we do to process checks. That's my understanding from here on out, until such time as it changes.
Understood. Okay, let's move on with the business agenda. There's a public works motion. I'll entertain a motion to authorize payment to Roto-Rooter Services Company in the amount of $66,259 from the 2013 Accounts Payable Fund, representing payment in full and final payment for the inlet rehabilitation contract as recommended by Gateway Engineers.
So moved.
It's moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote?
Mr. Amendola.
Yes.
Ms. Amendola.
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien.
Yes?
Mr. Phillips.
Yes.
Ms. Cubs.
Yes.
Ms. White.
Yes.
Motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to reopen the 2014 budget. We don't have to do that. We're just entertaining a motion if anyone wants to. This is typically practice for the new council members if they want to.
Doesn't that money have to be put in the budget somewhere?
Yeah, don't we have to in order to find the
Um,
money that was passed?
No.
A budget is a working document, and, you know, it's estimations of where
We can
money
take-
will come
It would
from.
have to be something very substantial, have to really.
Yeah.
That's
So-
not, then
With
those
those
numbers
numbers
not-
surrounding
So
it.
we don't
and-
We don't have to.
To answer your question, we would have to adjust the budget to allow for the payment for mayor and council. It will come from one line item to another, and I would report to council how that transpires.
Okay.
So if there's no second on the motion, can we just move on?
I don't even know if there was a motion.
No, there
Oh,
was
I
no
entertain a motion. There was, yeah, so there was no motion made. All right, I'll move to the next one. I'll entertain a motion to authorize the advertisement. Oh, I'm sorry, thank you.
We missed the second one.
The second one's moved.
Okay.
Great. Moving on to administration. I'll entertain a motion to move to continue and extend the police services agreement with the Borough of Thornburg for an additional 2-year term under the same terms and conditions of said agreement, except with respect to the consideration to be paid by the Borough of Thornburg to the Borough of Crafton, which shall be as stated in the agreement renewal effective January 2014.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion on the motion?
I do have discussion. and perhaps we aren't allowed to discuss it publicly, is the rate the same?
No, it reflects the increase from the police contract.
Okay.
The
that was my
increase is
concern.
reflected in this contract, yes.
Okay.
Any additional discussion? Hearing no additional discussion, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Amendola?
Yes.
Ms. Amendola?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Post?
Yes.
Ms. White?
Yes.
Motion passes. I'll entertain a motion to continue and extend the employment agreement with Robert Cowan, Borough Manager, for an additional 2-year term of January 6, 2014 through January 5, 2016, in accordance with the terms and conditions of the current agreement.
So moved.
Seconded.
I'd like to entertain a motion that we table that until we've had time to discuss it. I've reviewed the contract. You know, he wants to extend this contract out 2 years. I think we need some time to study. So there's a motion on the floor that we table this for right now, at least 30 days. Are there any seconds?
Can I ask a question? This is not an appointment, correct? So we cannot open it up later like we can for the solicitor?
Yeah, it's an at-will. They are at-will.
The solicitor, the borough manager's not at will, he's got a 2-year contract here. He's asking for a 2-year contract, it's not at will.
But in the code, the manager is ultimately at will of the council. And so at any time,
Have you read his contract?
yes, I read, and it was attached.
Yeah, we can
It's a year-to-year contract.
terminate the contract.
I have the
There's-
original contract right here.
If you want me to respond.
Okay.
Well, sir, there's a motion to table on the floor which has not been seconded.
Well, Ms. Amendola asked a question, we're trying to answer that question.
I think that the proper form would have been for the second motion to table would have to come
Yeah, there
first.
should be discussion on the table,
Yeah,
right?
there's, yeah.
And I'll second.
Okay, so let's discuss that now. The contract has termination clauses, so you're right, it's not the same as the solicitor and the other things. If we actually approve, if we pass this motion, the contract isn't in effect, and to terminate that contract, we would follow the termination clauses in that contract.
Which have very lucrative severance situations in here. And I haven't even read it yet. Is that right?
I read it, and it seemed to me that if it's done after a new body is set, it's a severance package of 6 months. So if we're done in the first 6 months following a new body, which this would be, so if we decided to terminate sometime between now and the first 6 months, the severance is 6 months. And if we do it outside that window, the termination severance package is 3 months, up to and including, the full term of the contract. So it's a 6 month and versus 3 month severance if we terminate.
Okay, well, there's a motion on the floor.
Let's take a roll call vote to table the motion.
Mr. Amendola?
Yes.
Ms. Amendola?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
No.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yeah.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Post?
No.
Ms. White?
No.
Motion does not carry. Let's take motion carried, the vote didn't pass. Motion does not pass.
So now,
That's the original motion. So
Which
let's
has
take
been
a,
moved and seconded.
which has been moved and seconded, let's take a roll call vote on the original motion to continue into,
I still have a question.
discussion on that motion.
Yes, it was a year-to-year lease, and it renews itself at the end of every year, beginning of the following year. Why are we changing it to a 2-year
It was
agreement?
suggested to be in compliance with the borough code that was amended. It allows borough managers no more than 2 years. In the past, some had 6-year contracts, 4-year. The one I had just was indefinite, kept rolling on. and rolling
Okay,
on.
who's the one that made it 2-year?
I suggested that.
So you made up your own contract?
No, I suggested to be in compliance with the borough code, allows up to 2 years. If you want to change it to 1 year, that's certainly up to council.
That's what it was.
But if you read the contract, it makes reference to the Borough Code section. It also makes reference to the crafting ordinance of the Borough Manual.
So we're gonna change it to a 2-year contract.
That's what's being proposed.
Without any discussion to any
I
council
mean,
people?
You could discuss it, that's what's.
But who did you discuss it with? to
But
make
it can, the motion can be amended, we've amended motions before.
Yeah, if you
I'd
want
like
to,
to
If-
amend
When the
this
wording
back
has
to a-
been, when
amend this
we
back
haven't
to
agreed
1 year.
to the wording on various motions, we've amended that, so.
we can do that.
Okay. And also on the section where you still have that same commitment to the COG,
Yes, on my time.
and you do that, you come in at noon on Wednesday. Do you make up that time? I've never seen you make up that time. Okay.
So is there, I believe there's been an amendment offered to the motion to change the term from 2 years back to 1 year. Is there a second for that motion to amend? Second for the amendment. So the amendment does not, will not be considered, it hasn't been seconded,
There's no second to the amendment.
so.
Okay, let's vote on the original motion that was moved and second. Roll call vote.
Mr. Amendola.
No.
Can I abstain?
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Phillips?
No.
Ms. Post?
Yes.
And Ms. White?
Yes.
Motion carries. All right, I think that was the last of the business agenda. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Executive session.
Yes, yeah, we're going to adjourn to executive session.
Before I mention that, the last meeting of the month, I guess, is the 27th of January. I just want to let you know, we will send notices to everyone that's been custom for Gateway Engineers to host council for dinner and beverages, and it'll be a Sharp's Edge after the next meeting.
So, do we have to vote on the motion to adjourn? If we're going into executive session?
Yeah, so you could sit, we could,
Just announce it.
you could just announce that we're going into executive session to discuss litigation.
Move to second.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going into, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? No. We're moving into
The
executive session.
27th, that's the
At the
gateway.
next meeting, we'll announce